You don't run from power, you embrace it. Hey guys, it's Chris, and in today's video, we are talking about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Episode 7, Scorpion Rising, and Episode 8, Tangled Web. Today's video is slightly different compared to how I've been doing my past videos over the last few months. But don't worry, I really think you guys are really going to like this video. Let's get into it! In Episode 7, Peter and Lonnie face the consequences of their secret lives. Harry tries to fix a friendship, but in the process gains a friend. Spider-Man faces his biggest threat, Matt Gargan, aka the Scorpion. First, let's talk about the biggest positive of Episode 7. Spider-Man vs. Scorpion is the most violent and deadly fight sequence in Season 1. And I mean, I've watched a lot of Spider-Man shows, and for most of them, the fight sequences are pretty good, if not solid. And this one, Spider-Man vs. the Scorpion, it's really good. It's one hell of a good fight sequence. This fight sequence starts with Scorpion attacking the 110's hideout. After a hail of gunfire, he swings his tail viciously and even impales one thug. I love when he swings his tail and it smacks this one thug and he just smacks right into the car, just goes flying over the car, grabs this one thug, wraps his tail around his neck and just throws him right into a table. He then heads his focus to Big Don, wraps his tail around Big Donovan's neck. Lonnie intervenes and saves Big Don, but is almost killed in the process. Spider-Man swings into action and saves Lonnie and Pearl. His friends and the gang retreat. This is just the beginning of this fight sequence, and Spider-Man has arrived on the scene. Scorpion begins to fight Spider-Man. The fight starts out fair enough, but that will change dramatically. During the fight, Scorpion sends a flying knee to Spider-Man's mask. This cracks his mask on his left eye. I do like how the crack kind of represents like a spider web inside and out. When you see the point of view of Spider-Man inside the mask, his left side, it's all cracked and it looks like a spider web. And then on the outside, it's not as like, not as like fine-tuned. It kind of just looks like a couple lines. But if you squint your eyes, the outside of the mask does look like a spider web. Norman advises Spider-Man to use the environment to his benefit. He manages to catch Scorpion off guard. He then proceeds to web him a ton until he runs out of web fluid. It's just spitting out because, if he was Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, he wouldn't have to worry about web fluid. He believes he is trapped and Norman takes his earpiece off. Man, that was a big mistake, Norman. But, he's more focused on finding Otto Octavius. But Scorpion uses the gamma radiation to escape the webs. This causes his suit to overheat and fuse into his flesh. I did want to say melt into his flesh, but Peter pointed out earlier in the episode that when gamma radiation, when you're exposed to it too much, it can literally fuse into your skin. I just love how you can see the burn marks all over his skin. Like, he really wants to fight Spider-Man, and it's like, I'm willing to essentially burn my own flesh so I can still fight Spider-Man. It's like, man, that's a really determined supervillain. This is when the fight takes a serious turn. Shoot. Spider-Man goes for a ride on Scorpion's tail while being dragged on the ground and walls. He can't throw things at him. He can't, zip away. He can't rapid webs. Norman finds Otto's location, and Scorpion pulls down a pillar onto Spider-Man, but he catches it. Ugh. This gives Scorpion enough time to stab Spider-Man from behind with his tail. Ugh. This attack has punctured his suit and he begins to bleed. Norman gets an alert. It's not possible. Spider-Man, it's possible. Yeah, dude, that attack punctured my suit. It's possible. He stumbles and falls onto the ground. Spider-Man asks Norman for help, but he has disappeared again. Scorpion wraps his tail around Spider-Man's neck and proceeds to pulverize him. When he gets on the ground, boom, boom, just punching him a ton. Punches him so hard one time, his mask shatters and you can see his mouth and you can see his eye and it's like a black eye. And Scorpion was definitely intended to beat the crap out of Spider-Man, essentially pulverize him, like beat him to death. Like if it wasn't for Norman or Green Goblin's glider, Scorpion probably would have killed Spider-Man. This is the most poisonous and life-threatening supervillain we have seen in Season 1, where I feel that the other past low-life supervillains with tech enhancements, they just kind of just beat Spider-Man up, kind of just pushed him around a little bit. But the Scorpion, you could tell that he was like determined to essentially beat him to death. The Unicorn, she was determined to defeat Spider-Man, but she was never determined to kill Spider-Man. And for a cartoon, I just couldn't believe it. Like, out of all the cartoons I've seen, Spider-Man's gotten beat up pretty well. But in this episode, it just really captures that the Scorpion, or Matt Gargan, he's just a vicious supervillain. The hideout engulfs in flames and explodes. Scorpion lives. In episode 8, Spider-Man's Oscorp suit is totaled following the fight with Scorpion. Norman gives Peter an ultimatum, causing him to do some soul searching. Otto is finally held accountable for selling weapons and is arrested by Iron Man. Well, where did Iron Man and Secretary Ross get that tip from where his location was? Norman Osborn. Let's talk about the biggest positive of episode 8. Norman gives Peter a reimagining of the iconic Uncle Ben's speech. You don't run from power, you embrace it. With great power comes great respect. Peter needs to give the world a reason to respect him. These scenes alone make this an outstanding adaptation to the Spider-Man franchise. Don't pull your punches, embrace your power and abilities, and you will be unmatched. Essentially, how to be a greater Spider-Man. Episode 8 ends when Harry reveals to Peter a new suit. This suit is based on Peter's own designs. This confirms the classic and red-blue suit moving forward. Episode 7 features the most savage fight sequence in Season 1. Episode 8 may lack any action, but features an important element to the story. Peter finally learns what it truly means to be a greater Spider-Man. Norman's great power speech may not have the same impact as Uncle Ben, but still feels true to the character. Norman's true colors are starting to surface. Norman may be Peter's mentor, but I feel that he always puts his best interests in Oscorp first, especially what we learn at the end of episode 9. But he's just been shady in this episode, or episode 7 in particular, really just captures like his true agendas are starting to surface, like what he really is doing behind the scenes. I feel this is the beginning of the downfall of Norman and Peter's mentorship. Make sure you let me know down in the comments which video structure or foundation you guys like better. Do you guys like it when I do it this way? Or do you guys like when I talk about the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then kind of a summary and what I like about each individual episode? Let me know down in the comments which way you guys like better. I'm Spider-ManChris, and I'll see you in the next one.